Welcome to Telegram.com, Telegram Network. This is the Oddity Report. I'm your host. I go by Denota. So today we're going to be discussing the recent indictment announced by U.S. Attorney Damian Williams out of the state of New York against the current sitting one of the senators from the Garden state of New Jersey, Senator Bob Menendez, who was appointed the senator from the then governor John Corzine, who was basically once he became governor, his Senate seat became vacant, and as it works, he had the authority to make an appointment. He appointed Bob Menendez, and Bob Menendez was able to complete the year remaining on John Corzine's term, and he subsequently ran and won those elections. Now, the recent indictment, which was announced the other day, is interesting because he has a history of being accused of engaging in public corruption. Now, in 2007, Senator Menendez faced a high profile criminal case, and he was charged with multiple counts of corruption and bribery. Now, the allegations against him centered around a relationship with Dr. Solomon Melendez, who is a wealthy eye doctor. It was claimed that Menendez had accepted lavish gifts, including trips to the doctor's private jet and luxury vacations, in exchange for using his political influence to benefit the doctor's business interests. Now, the case went to trial in 2017, but it ended in a mistrial as the jury was unable to reach a unanimous verdict. The Department of Justice then decided to drop the charge in 2018, effectively ending the legal proceedings against him. So this brings us to today. Now, these are a new set of charges, new set of allegations, okay, stemming out of a new set of circumstances. So before I get into more particular, commentary, let's listen into the U.S.
My name is
Attorney Damian
and I'm the
Williams.
United States Attorney here in the Southern District of New York. Today I'm announcing that my office has obtained a 3-count indictment charging Senator Robert Menendez, his wife Nadine Menendez, and 3 New Jersey businessmen, while Hannah, Jose Uribe, and Fred Davies, for bribery offenses. The investigation that led to these charges has been run out of the Southern District of New York. The indictment alleges that between 2018 and 2022, Senator Menendez, the senior U.S. Senator from New Jersey and the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and his wife Nadine Menendez, engaged in a corrupt relationship with Hannah, Uribe, and Davies. The indictment alleges that through that relationship, the senator and his wife accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars of bribes in exchange for Senator Menendez using his power and influence to protect and to enrich those businessmen and to benefit the government of Egypt. The indictment alleges that Hannah, Uribe, and Davies provided bribes in the form of cash, gold, home mortgage payments, a low-show or a no-show job for Nadine Menendez, a Mercedes-Benz, and other things of value to the senator and his wife. Now, constituent service is part of any legislator's job. Senator Menendez is no different. And as we explain in the indictment, there are things that Senator Menendez says he can do for his constituents and things that he says he cannot do for his constituents. He put it all on his Senate website. So for instance, it says he cannot compel an agency to act in someone's favor. It says he cannot influence matters involving a private business. It says he cannot get involved in criminal matters or cases, period. But we allege that behind the scenes, Senator Menendez was doing those things for certain people, the people who were bribing him and his wife. Now, let me say a little bit more about the conduct that's alleged in the indictment. The indictment alleges that Senator Menendez took several actions as part of this corrupt relationship. First, the indictment alleges that Senator Menendez used his power and influence, including his leadership role on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, to benefit the government of Egypt in various ways. Among other actions, Senator Menendez allegedly provided sensitive, non-public U.S. government information to Egyptian officials and otherwise took steps to secretly aid the government of Egypt. We also allege that Senator Menendez improperly pressured a senior official at the U.S. Department of Agriculture to protect a lucrative monopoly that the government of Egypt had awarded to Hana, a lucrative monopoly that Hana then used to fund certain bribe payments. Second, the indictment alleges that Senator Menendez used his power and influence to try to disrupt a criminal investigation and prosecution undertaken by the New Jersey Attorney General's office related to an associate and a relative of Uribe. Third, the indictment alleges that Senator Menendez used his power and influence to try to disrupt a federal prosecution of Davies in the District of New Jersey in two ways. First, by seeking to install a United States attorney who he thought could be influenced with respect to Davies. And second, by trying to influence that office to act favorably in Davies' case. And as we allege in the indictment, the senator agreed to do these things and use his power in this way because Hana was paying bribes, because Uribe was paying bribes, and because Davies was paying bribes. Fortunately, the public officials the senator sought to influence did not bend to the pressure. That's a good thing. Now, as part of this investigation, special agents with the FBI executed search warrants on the residence and safe deposit box of Senator Menendez and Nadine Menendez in New Jersey. When they got there, they discovered approximately $500,000 of cash stuffed into envelopes and closets. Some of the cash was stuffed in the senator's jacket pockets. Some of the envelopes of cash contained Davies' fingerprints or Davies' DNA. That's not all. Agents also discovered a lot of gold that was provided by Davies and Hana. And the FBI, of course, found the Mercedes-Benz that Uribe had provided them. Now, the items that the FBI uncovered are discussed in the indictment, which I encourage all of you to read carefully. Let's take a look at just some of the items. So as you can see here, this is the Mercedes-Benz that we allege that Uribe provided as part of the scheme. What you see here are 3 kilograms of gold. These 3 kilograms together are worth approximately $150,000. And of course, here you can see just a fraction of the cash that was uncovered as part of the scheme.
Hey, was that a... Now, first, I want to start off by stating, look, we live in the greatest country, right? In all of the world, despite our shortcomings and issues and problems and challenges that we face. And Bob Menendez is entitled to the presumption of innocence. I believe in that. That's in the Constitution. So, with that being said, look, let's just do a recap of what the U.S. Attorney just said was found at Bob Menendez's residence and a safe deposit box. They found over $500,000 in cash stuffed in jacket pockets and over 3 kilograms of gold valued well over and in excess of $150,000, along with a Mercedes-Benz. And to boot, the DNA of one of the individuals involved in the case found directly on the cash at his residence. Now, if these allegations are true, he needs to be held to the highest degree, to the furthest extent that the law provides, because this type of corruption on a part of public officials is unacceptable. This is not a political issue. Trump is entitled to the presumption of innocence as well. And I believe the same for him. If these allegations are proven to be true, he needs to be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Look, we can't have a society where you have people who are well connected being treated one way and everyone else being treated another. That is not a sustainable recipe for a democracy, for a thriving democracy. It cannot thrive under those circumstances. And what's, unnerving here is the fact that with regards to Senator Menendez is that we're seeing the same set of charges that he just was by chance was able to defeat back in 2017. And here we are again being faced with the same, you know, type of allegations again with new parties. And you would think he had learned. I don't know. There's a saying that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So maybe we need to get into some discussion, perhaps at some point, in terms of how we need to reconfigure the way power is distributed throughout this nation. Because I think there's too much of a concentration of power in a group of a small group of individuals who are basically using that power not to make people's lives better, but to enrich themselves. That's not a sustainable recipe. That's not the formula by which this democracy is going to be able to sustain itself. Power has to be distributed equally among the people, irrespective of race and gender and, the different opinions and views that people may have. It's about people's ability to take care of themselves and take care of their families and being able to have those opportunities readily available to them. And they don't have to worry about being connected in any particular way. I mean, this is just a shame. It's pitiful. It's pitiful. But one thing I would say is, look, I got to give kudos to the U.S. Attorney, Damian Williams, because at the end of the day, he just stated the facts. He didn't go into any commentary. He didn't make it political. He just laid out the evidence or the facts as he know them to be. And look, he deferred further comment because he knows that the proper forum for these sort of things to be vetted out, it's in a courtroom. But I give him kudos because he had the courage to be able to go after someone who's powerful and well connected and say, you know what, we're going to hold you accountable for what you did. And so that's the silver lining in this case, is that people in positions of power are being held to account. This is Telegram.com, Telegram Network. This is the Oddity Report. I go by Denota. I'll catch you guys on the next round.